It's March 13th, Tuesday. Just another update. I just finished installing the left spring over here. I borrowed a angle iron from a friend of mine, Mike May, in Santa Paula, which helped me to compress the spring by using a combination of my jack and clamps and positioning the spring down here on the top. The only way I could do it was to put it on the top and then go across to the inside of the spring over here, and then I was actually trying to compress it so I could get the top lined up and then shove the bolt through there, and it worked out fine. It took a little while to figure it all out. And another issue with putting on the spring is to line up inside down in here where my finger's at. There's a little hole way down here. There's a hole and a pin that goes through there. So I had to line that up and pick up the front end of my differential and make sure that I had blocks under that so I get it level. And the other problem is getting these U-shape, whatever they are, I don't know what they're called, getting those over the spring and then actually down into the thing in the bottom here, whatever the heck that's called. It's some kind of a rectangular piece that clamps onto these bolts. And the hole down here has to be positioned properly, so it's kind of a job to jiggle it all around. I actually had to get another clamp over here to clamp up in here, clamp these two to pull them together a little bit, because they expand as they're going around the shaft of the rear end itself. So it was kind of a challenge. I went down to Orchard Supply and got this big clamp so I could do that, and so now I've got the left spring on. I'm waiting for a clutch linkage pin thing that goes up in here. I'm waiting for that those new parts to come in. So now I'm going to as I stand up here, getting old, I'm going to unloosen the angle iron and come around to this side, which is how it looks before you start, and undo the wiring here that's holding this up in the air. Position my jack underneath the brake drum there, and I'll put the angle iron on top as I did the other side, get the clamp and compress it down, and then I have to unhook this guy and then drop it down a little bit, and then eventually put this back in when it's lined up. Get these guys mounted, these little round whatever they are, kind of a strap of some kind, and this side will be done. And then basically last couple days I was assembling that's the upper A-frame, and this is the lower A-frame over here. That here's the right side or left side A-frame, and then the left side upper A-frame. So I went up to see Mike May yesterday to show him what I've done, and he was great on helping me out. He gave me some pointers on how to install the lower ball joints and a couple other little things I did wrong here, but I'll get these fixed. Probably put these on next couple days. And so kind of come along really good on the I got some pipes down here I bought to pound on the bushings, these big bushings here that have to be pounded on the ends of these guys here on both sides, actually this way and that way. So yeah, just a lot of little things to do, but it's all methodical. Anyway, I guess I'll sign off for now. I'm going to be spending the next hour or so putting on the rear springs, and then tomorrow, the next day, I'll be working back on the front suspension, and by the weekend I should have the A-frame installed on the chassis and the sway bar, maybe even the steering idler and all that good stuff, and the steering box back on. Actually, I'm going to take the steering box over here, and I got these guys to clean up. I don't know why they weren't done when they did the powder coating. It's pretty nasty looking. I may end up having to get some new parts here. They don't look very good. And here's a steering box in here, and that's pretty dirty too. I don't know why the guy didn't clean it up. Everything else is pretty clean. So that'll be my job for the next few days, is to get the suspension done. I'm going to go up to Ojai to my friend Dwayne Bauer, and probably on Sunday, and take my some of my aluminum stuff to polish it up there and do some cleaning. And so next week I will have I should have most of the suspension on. Unfortunately, I don't have any tires, and one of my next jobs after this stuff in a week or two is to take these 5 rims and use the I forget what it's called, where you blast them with sandblasting. So I'll sandblast them all, getting ready for paint, and then I'll put the cream color paint on them, and then I'll have to buy some tires. So you think what I'll do in this for these guys is to go ahead and buy 5 Dunlop radials, not radials, the bias ply for showing, and probably one of the last things I'll do is buy a set of radials and some chrome wires that I'll run on it as a driver, and then use the Dunlops for show. Let's go outside here for a second. Over here I've got some stuff. Actually, here's my hood. It's got sitting out here in the weather, but it doesn't rust, so it's okay. I've got a brand new Dunlop over here I bought for a spare on my other car, and there's some old wiring over here, some cabling that we're going to be replacing here pretty quick. I might reuse that gas line maybe, but brake lines I've got on order, and from Custom Tubing back in New York. So anyhow, all fun and games. That's all for now. I'll do an update maybe tomorrow.